100 dogs with elite talents of speed and agility descended on Tulsa this weekend, but only the best of the best have advanced through to tonight's final round, and the goal is the same for each finalist to be anointed nation's best. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, it's the 2019 AKC National Agility Championships. Hello everyone and welcome inside the Ford Arena at the Expo Square Complex in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Kelly O'Donnell and this is dog agility handler and owner and judge Dave Hirsch. Dave, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. I was an exhibitor here a few hours ago. Didn't quite make it to the finals, but I'm having a great time, and I really appreciate you guys having me here to help you out.
Well, I know you've been involved in the sport for the past 20 years, 12 as a judge, and really the reason you have not competed yet or judged the national championships is because you preferred to compete, and you've had some success doing that with your dog, Super Lotto.
Oh, he's a wonderful dog. I'm very lucky to have a teammate like him. He just has surpassed anything that I could ever ask of him, and we enjoy it so much.
Well, we're going to see the first dog in the ring in a few minutes from now, but right now, tell our audience exactly what's happening behind us with the exhibitors in the ring.
So the exhibitors are walking the actual course, trying to figure out what the strategy is going to be. Trying to figure out where their dog's going to go, where they hope their dog is going to go, and where they're going to be. And hopefully have a clean run.
And it's important to note that the dogs aren't allowed to be in the course and see where the obstacles are set up until they're actually in the arena competing.
That's exactly. They have a timed amount. They have amount of time that the handlers are walking.
Yep.
And they get to figure out what their best strategy is going to be, and then they bring their dogs out there basically blind and try to run that course.
Because the dogs are the stars of this sport, but really it is a two-man team between the dogs and the handlers have just as much influence on the success as the dog does.
It's all about communication between you and your dog. The kind of bond that you have, the kind of cues you give your dog, and the way that it goes, it's going to be fantastic to watch. The teams that are out there, I've been watching all weekend. They're phenomenal. It's going to be a lot of fun.
1,313 dogs were competing this weekend. That number has now been winnowed down to the final 109 finalists that we will see tonight. And let's give our audience a sense of exactly how the dog agility competition works. There are 20 particular obstacles and jumps in this course that they will have to traverse in a time between 20 and 40 seconds, but they have to do so cleanly. There are faults that they can incur, for example, knocking over a bar or refusing an obstacle, and if you pick up faults, that's going to decrease from your total score, and really to win a championship here tonight, it's got to be a clean run, and it's got to be done in the fastest time.
We're going to see a lot of good runs. We're going to also see dogs that obviously are pushing as much as they can. We're going to see some faults. If a dog knocks a bar, obviously they're going to get time added on to their score. So a clean dog is the only dog that's actually going to make it to the final.
It's got to be a pristine run to count towards a championship tonight. So there are 109 finalists, Dave, as I mentioned, divided into 11 different height divisions and categories, into subgroups of two classes, the preferred group and the regular group. Explain the difference for us.
The preferred group is the actual dog's height that he's supposed to jump, but he gets to jump 4 inches lower. Typically, those are dogs that have been doing the sport for quite some time. They're a little bit older. They still enjoy the game. They still love running. They get to run it at 4 inches lower at the preferred height.
And not just advanced age, but sometimes a particular dog breed that might not be suited to jump at a higher height will choose to run in preferred.
That's correct. That's correct.
What are some of those dogs?
That prefer to jump in the preferred height.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, actually, they're running a white dog. The dogs that will jump the preferred height are dogs that might, again, like you said, be a dog that's an injured dog. But as far as a dog that we see a lot of St. Bernards, if they, not a lot, but there's a St. Bernard, they're usually running the 20-inch when they qualify for the 24 because of the breed itself.
Because of the breed. Yeah. Now, what we're seeing right now is referred to as a white dog. So this is not a dog competing in the finals tonight, but it's an opportunity to test out the bar at its current height and for a judge really to evaluate how a dog is going to run the course.
That's exactly right. These people get to run. These dogs did very well this entire week. They got a consolation to be able to run this, to show the dog, to show the judge where to be, and to make sure that everything is running right and properly. We'll have one dog for each height with the preferred and the standard heights.
So we mentioned the preferred group will be first. There are 5 divisions in preferred, followed by 6 height divisions in the regular classification. So the shortest height in preferred is the 4 inches, and that's what we just saw the white dog run through the course at. So now it's being raised to 8 inches.
And I'm not sure if we're going to see an 8-inch preferred dog, which is typically a 12-inch dog, and a regular national, or a regular dog that would run in its regular 8-inch height. We'll find out now. Always a lot of fun. Look at all these different breeds.
And Dave, let's talk about the course as we watch the white dog at 8 inches work its way through the weave poles at the moment. You and I had an opportunity to be down in the arena about an hour or so ago after the course had already been set up and walk it obstacle for obstacle. And what were your first impressions? Because this is a setup that not only the dogs haven't seen yet, but then the handlers hadn't seen yet either. It was set up by the judge and particularly created to be challenging because this is deciding a national championship.
So we see a course that's out there, especially this last turn right there, that's going to be extremely challenging. The small dogs out there, say, have a lot more strides.
Yep.
They get a lot more time to get from jump to jump. The larger dogs are definitely going to have a little bit more problems because they have a larger stride and less strides between obstacle and obstacle. So I think that it's an appropriate course for tonight. There's no question about that. It's definitely challenging. It's going to be fun to watch. So they're going up to 12-inch, and they move the A-frame up to 5 foot 6 inches. For the 4s and 8s, it's down to 5 foot. And then when they go to the 12-inch dogs and higher, they make the A-frame 5 foot 6.
So the bars go up, the A-frame changes, but then there are obstacles that are consistent regardless of the height division, the seesaw, the dog walk, the tunnel.
That's correct. All that is stayed the same for no matter what dog and what height.
So we talked about some potential trouble areas on the course as you and I had a chance to go through it step for step. And one of them was coming out of the first open tunnel on the course here in getting into this jump instead of turning straight for the A-frame.
Going to the dog walk
Yep.
out of that tunnel. So far, these first few dogs have done very, very well. We had our first fault there. The dog, instead of taking the jump the proper way, went ahead around the jump and took it on the backside. It's called a backside. So that was a fault, and if this dog was actually running in the competition, it would be assessed a fault and most likely not make it to the national championship.
Another thing that we can scout as we watch the white dogs run through the course is that different handlers are going to choose to take different lines, not just the lines that the dogs are going to take on the course, but also the handlers are making decisions based on the obstacles as far as what they think will best benefit and give the proper cues to their dogs.
So the way that we handle our dogs, it changes all the time. We try to be more efficient, try to give the dog as much communication, as much cues, let the dog see and know what we want as soon as we can. So handlers will be handling on all different ways what they feel is best. This handler here is going to be on the back side, dog's going to be on the left, and they're going to hope to come off the dog walk and push the dog into that tunnel. We saw the first handler that ran today. She ran on the opposite side and she pulled her dog into the tunnel.
And this is a tricky little sequence here. It's called the serpentine. These 3 jumps all in a row, and it forces the dog to kind of make an S shape.
So we did get to see this dog on his A-frame miss the contact, came off the side. The judge went ahead and practiced. Right there's another refusal. The dog had the jump right in front of him and chose to pull off of it, and that was a refusal. Another fall.
And what was tricky about that particular design where you think the dog made the refusal instead of going over the 18th obstacle?
So the dog took number 17. The handler tried to run as fast as she could to get to the other side, and the dog followed her and did not get a proper cue. The dog did not commit to that obstacle. And we're going to see a lot of that coming up very soon.
So again, for anybody who's just tuning in, we're walking through the course with the white dogs before the official finals begin. It will be the 4-inch preferred dogs coming up in just a couple of minutes.
What a really nice run.
Takes the 18th obstacle and clean through to the finish. So again, no championship for that dog, but a round of applause from just about a packed house here.
Crowd pleaser, absolutely. We'll have a 20-inch dog, and then I believe a 24, and then they'll get ready for the actual national championship.
We mentioned more than 1,300 dogs competing here this weekend from 46 states. 122 dogs from California, 158 dogs from Texas, the most represented state. But Ohio, a terrific showing. And Dave, that's home base for you, 80 dogs from Ohio.
I'm from Columbus myself. I'm a Buckeye. That's Ohio State boys. So there are great, incredible pockets of agility competitors all throughout the country. But obviously, Ohio has a tremendous amount, and they're well represented here. So I'm always rooting for the home team, home state.
46 states, Bermuda, 6 dogs from Canada on here for the national championships. 95 breeds represented as well, so that'll be fun for us tonight to take a look at many of the different breeds competing in agility. Of course, there are some very popular breeds that are going to be very successful and well represented tonight. A couple of examples would be the Papillon in the smaller division, the Border Collie, and the Retriever, which you run.
I think we're going to be able to see a lot of breeds. We obviously have the herding breeds that just by fact, we're going to see a Border Collie run right now, a beautiful dog as well. We saw a Turv just run. That was a herding dog as well. And even the smaller dogs, the Corgis, are a herding breed. But outside of that, we'll see a lot of breeds. We saw a lot of different breeds. As you said, 92 different breeds were represented. Any dog can do this. You have the time to train your dog and have some fun with them, and they all enjoy it. What dog doesn't like running and jumping, climbing?
Serpentine claiming a victim there.
And the exhibitors who are going to be in the competition are getting a little bit of an understanding what's going on there. They're actually watching. So we go up to 24 now. 24 inch.
So it is possible to collect a fault in this competition in the finals and still place among the top 8, because there will be, and there are some divisions where there aren't 8 representatives in the finals, and we'll break that down as we get within each division. But you can have a fault and still place. It's just not going to be possible to fault and win a championship.
You will not get the title of the national championship if you are not clean and the best dog out there per your height. Quite a few years ago that did happen. There was no dog that was perfectly clean, and I believe that they may have awarded that dog the national championship, and from that year on they said, at this point we're going to make sure that in order to actually get that title, we want you to be clean at the best of the best show that we have, the national championship.
These are the 23rd National Agility Championships put on by the American Kennel Club, the 10th preferred National Agility Championships. It was a decade ago that the second class was created. And it's great because it really does extend the life of some of these champion dogs, still have an opportunity to compete at the highest level.
Yeah, no one wants to see a dog do this year in, year out, and doing all the beating on their shoulders, a lot of jumping. If you give them the opportunity to run a little bit lower, they have a much longer life. The opportunity to run longer without getting any injuries.
The average age of the 1,300 dogs competing here this weekend, 7.5 years old, and I'm sure that's going to surprise a lot of people. But the truth is, agility competition not only requires athleticism, but it's also experience that comes with age.
But you said early on that the dogs had a year to compete to make it here. So you have to earn enough points in order to make it to the national event. Young dogs take a while to get out of their classes. There's a novice class, an open class, and then the excellent. And out of there, you get to the master class. The master class is where you start earning points in order to get into this competition. So a dog does not start in the AKC until they're 15 months of age. That's the earliest that they can even start running in competition.
So the obstacles are being reset for the preferred 4-inch division. Just 4 competitors in this division. And our first official run is about to begin with the dog named Stella, handled by Pat Patterson, a Pembroke Welsh Corgi. Stella is almost 12 years old, and officially the finals are now underway.
And there you go, right there. We talked about that. Come the possible off course coming right off of that dog walk, and the dog decided to push out to the wrong end of that time. So we have a fault. The dog's still having a wonderful run. All they'll have is the amount of time it took them to get back on the horse and the 5-point fault.
Stella doesn't realize she went in through the wrong end of the tunnel. She's still having fun. So still will have an opportunity to place. And still could be running for first place, though wouldn't be considered a national champion, depending on what happens with the 3 dogs to follow her.
The first dog that ran, she's sitting in the hot seat. Very nice.
So 5 faults in
nice
just under 46 seconds is the number. Stella is almost 12 years old from Tennessee. Next into the ring is Muncie, a Habanese from Colorado.
Wonderful to see the different breeds, right?
Yes, it is. Leaps onto the A-frame.
Got the contact zone. Handle that serpentine nicely. Right up that teeter. Perfect.
So watching the smaller dogs, they've got it's like an elevator. They've got to wait for the teeter to come all the way to the bottom floor, unlike the larger dogs, which get it down much quicker.
Yeah, the smaller the dog, the lighter the dog, the longer it takes for him to come down. Oh no, that last bar came down. So she takes the hot seat, but she didn't have a clean run. So at this point, she is the first place dog, but not clean in order to earn the national championship.
It seemed like a foregone conclusion that the run would be clean, but knocked the bar down right on that last obstacle, number 20. But as you mentioned, the best run so far in the 4-inch preferred division. This is Logan, an All-American dog, trained by Kim Barton out of Ohio.
Kim is one of the locals from Central Ohio. For me, that is local for me. She does a phenomenal job with this dog at the Invitational year after year in Florida and here at the Nationals.
Logan's 11.5 years old, mentioned an All-American dog. It's a mixed breed dog, so eligible to compete in this competition, and that's a clean run at 38.5 seconds.
And Logan won this in 2017 as the preferred national championship. Our first clean run.
So the only dog with an opportunity to take a national championship away from Logan is Sprite, a Papillon from Pennsylvania, the first year competing in the preferred class.
And again, because of the running order, this is the dog that had the highest points and was the fastest dog over the weekend. That's why she gets to go last.
Jumped off of the teeter early. That's a fault. So the first national championship will go to Logan. And we talked about sometimes the dogs have to be patient in the lighter weight, sitting on that teeter until it touches the ground.
It takes a while for it to fall down. So here we have. They're going to bring Kim back in. Good for her and Logan. Terrific.
So it's Kim Barton and the All-American dog Logan, the national champion at the 4-inch preferred division.
And here she comes for her celebratory run.
And Dave, Logan had to come out of the challenger round, something we haven't had a chance really to speak about yet, but there are 3 qualifying rounds, and for dogs that don't qualify straight through to the finals, but we're close, there's an opportunity to earn what essentially is a wild card into the finals. And Logan was able to pick up that wild card and parlay it into a national championship.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? The dog, so all the other dogs that we just saw compete had 3 rounds made to the finals. That dog had 4 rounds and still ended up winning the whole competition. That's fantastic. And while Logan had that extra run there, it was kind of neat. The bars were set at 8 inches, the dog's regular height, not preferred height.
Yep.
The dog took it without any problem, even at 11.5 years old.
So once again, Kim Barton, the handler, Logan, the national champion. Our next division will be 8 inches in the preferred class. And by the way, their height division measured by the height of the dog. So dogs in the preferred class jumping at 8 inches are 14 inches and under when measured by their shoulders.
By their shoulders, that's correct. Also known as the withers.
Which is effectively the highest point on the dog when standing on all fours.
Okay. We have all the preferred classes obviously running first. This is the preferred National Agility Champions.
And the first dog running at 8 inches is Spring, a Shetland sheepdog out of New Jersey, handled by Robin Berry.
That whole region has very competitive dogs too. The judge of New Jersey quite often was just wonderful to watch those competitors too.
Drifted a little bit wide heading into the seesaw.
Having a nice run.
Into the second open tunnel. Clean so far. And will set the standard to beat at 8 inches.
Very nice. Again, she gets to sit in the hot seat.
So Spring's time, 45.81 seconds, as you mentioned, the hot seat, which means if no dog is able to knock him out of that spot, then it's a national championship. This is Charlie, an All-American dog out of Minneapolis, handled by Lindy Luopa.
Oh, it's terrific to see. Again, all the breeds. All-American dogs are terrific to watch too.
Charlie suffered a disc rupture at the age of 6, spent 2.5 years in rehab before returning to agility. You wouldn't know by watching that run, huh?
No, being able to run in the preferred, that's exactly what it's for.
Yep.
A wonderful dog like that.
So 41.4 seconds is the new time to beat. And this is the dog to survive the challenger round this evening, Shelby, a Pembroke Welsh Corgi.
Oh. So she did not support that jump coming out of the weed poles. The dog pulled in with her. Ended up getting a refusal from the judge as an additional 5-point fault.
So because we already have 2 clean rounds without a fault in this division, if a dog picks up a fault regardless of his or her time, they'd no longer be eligible to win the national championship.
That's correct. But a very nice run.
So a time of 43 seconds, which would have been slotted into second place, but because of the faults, knocked down to 3rd out of 3 so far. 2 more dogs in this height division with an opportunity to knock Charlie out of the hot seat. This is Radiance, Shetley, handled by Patty Gagnon. Bouncing through the weave poles.
Doing a fantastic job. Nice serpentine, front cross, right to that teeter, holds onto that teeter. Jumped off the side. The judge felt that he jumped off the side before it hit the bottom, so he got faulted for the teeter performance.
So that is going to spoil what otherwise would have been a terrific run. Coming in at 36 seconds would have been well ahead of the time to beat. But because of the premature dismount off of the seesaw, it's not going to be enough for Radiance. So the last dog with a chance at preferred at 8 inches is Tammy, a miniature Schnauzer. It's April Johnson Mazzetti handling.
And I think she's the first one we've seen on the far side. Dog missed the contact zone and got called for a miss.
And that means we have our national champion at the preferred class 8 inches. It's going to be Charlie, the All-American. A spirited run here, though, from Tammy, but again, picked up the fault and therefore is not eligible for the national title.
No, but April's out there finishing up real nice. And you'll see at the end, she's all happy. She's going to go there and give her dog a pat, tell him he's the best.
So we've got a champion at 8 inches. A big hand for Charlie, the All-American.
Look how terrific. As you said, this is the dog that was hurt. Is that correct? Is this the dog that was?
That's right.
He spent 2.5 years in rehab, and look, he came here. He's a national champion, preferred national champion.
His first AKC Nationals, a milestone in his comeback, and now Charlie is a national champion. Great story, and now we move on to the preferred class 12-inch division. There will be 5 competitors. We'll see a couple of Australian cattle dogs. An All-American will be first after Charlie's moment with the ribbon. And Dave, for somebody who competes year-round in agility, how special is this competition and this championship?
You kind of start your year off, and if you're in this sort of competitively to an extent, you want to try to earn the best score. You want to be able to be allowed to come here. In order to do that, you have to achieve, again, the certain goal to make it here. And once you're here, you made it to the national event. You said there were 1,300 dogs that came from all around the country. You can see everyone's having a great time. Everyone's doing the best they can, showing off the talent of their dog. So it's wonderful, wonderful to see.
Preferred class 12-inch division now. Up first is Cameo, handled by Penny Lee.
Cameo got called off for contact, did not touch the yellow on the dog walk. So we already have a fault for our first dog.
And it seems like, so far, Dave, the first half of the course has been a little bit more challenging than the back half.
So far for these dogs, for the stride of these dogs, absolutely. The beginning has been much more challenging. Beautiful runs.
But as we get into the greater height division, you're saying that could change based on the gait and the stride of the dog.
That's correct. The way that these jumps are spaced out and the way they have to come in and go out and zigzag sort of between 17, 18, 19, and even coming off of the triple, we're going to see quite a bit more of a different type of a stride of path for the dog.
Here's a dog from Texas. This is Skull, handled by Martine Kopka. An Australian cattle dog, one of 2 Australian cattle dogs to reach the finals in this division.
We've seen so many different breeds, including an All-American, in just this short time. That's terrific. Terrific to see that.
Skull bringing the noise, yapping his way through his run.
Look at that one.
Wide turn, he was able to get it back on track, and now the finish clean.
Nice. Very nice time.
So Skull goes into the hot seat.
Very nice run.
35.42 seconds is the time. Next into the ring, Stella, who survived the Challenger round, an Australian Shepherd, handled by Dana George.
Doing a very nice job. Look at that, communicating with the dog, telling the dog what's coming up, where to go, where she's going, setting this line right here to the tunnel. Very efficient.
Comes out of the...
Supporting 17 perfect, get her cross in there, bring the dog right over, 19 to 20.
Time is going to be just short of what was needed to jump into the hot seat. 35.4 is the number to beat. That clocked at about 36 seconds.
Skull had a nice run. Obviously, 1 second faster.
2 more dogs with a chance to take the title away from Skull. This is Trio, a border collie, handled by Samantha Parsons.
Sam is out there running, another local Central Ohio person.
Nice low center of gravity over the A-frame.
Trio's a wonderful dog. This is another dog that, because of the age, it's just wonderful to see.
Pops out of the tunnel at 29 seconds. The time to beat is 35 and a half. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
He's underneath.
Very nice.
trio takes charge with just one dog remaining. And last at 12 inches in the preferred class is Maisie, handled by Anne Swad, our second Australian cattle dog of the division. Maisie's from California, competing at nationals for the 5th time.
And since she's the last dog running, she was ranked #1. She had the first seed.
34.5 seconds is the time to beat. 2 jumps to
Makes
go.
that last turn. She's
34.42, and that is just good enough by 1/10 of a second. There's your champion.
They're letting her now. No, now. Now she knows.
Wow. The 12-inch division settled by 1/10 of a second. And the winner is Maisie, handled by Anne Swan. The Australian cattle dog takes the blue ribbon. We're going to take a quick break ourselves. The 16-inch division in the preferred class is coming up next here at the AKC National Agility Championships.
Dogs can't brush. With Fresh Breath by Tropiclean, they don't have to. Clean teeth, healthy mouth, fresh breath. No brushing required. You make the moments. We make them fresh.
This is no ordinary puppy. This is a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to reach his mental and physical best. Eukanuba gives him the animal proteins and DHA he needs for a strong body and mind. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make him a Eukanuba dog.
We are AKC TV, the digital network for all things dogs. Take a front row seat at world-class dog events. Programming created especially for you and your best friend. From the American Kennel Club, AKC TV. Sit, stay, watch.
We're back in Tulsa, the preferred class 16-inch division underway. The first competitor is the Border Collie Motive, handled by Stephanie Spire.
This is where it starts to get quite a bit faster. You can see by the dog's stride how much more the speed of the dog. 32. We haven't seen a 32 yet today.
So Motive throws down a clean run, as you mentioned, at a time of 32 seconds. And they do compete in reverse order, which means that Motive was the last dog to qualify to the finals, but put down a pretty good number for the rest of the field to chase.
I think it's going to get exciting. So these are the dogs who would normally be the 20-inch height.
Yep. So. On the course now is Daisy, handled by Trevor Smith. A dog from Texas, a Border Collie. And of the dogs in this division, all but one Border Collies. Daisy, 10 years old.
Just perfect to see that dog at the age of 10 running like that. To ask that dog to jump its regular height at 20 inches would probably not be the best for this dog, but right now at 16 is doing a beautiful job. Way to go, Daisy.
36 seconds, 4 seconds behind Motive, who set the pace. Daisy, by the way, likes playing with the family pig named Cashew when not competing in agility.
Cashew. That's great.
In the ring is Barembo. Nanette Nance is the handler, another Border Collie. We're going to see 5 consecutive Border Collies before a Labrador Retriever breaks up the parade of Border Collies.
So as we've seen so far, the bigger striding dogs have not had much of an issue between 1 through 4 or 5. I think if they're going to have an issue, it's going to be when these jumps get a little bit tighter, coming to and from the toe.
Over the triple bar jump without any issue. Comes out of the tunnel at 31 seconds. Remember, the time to beat is 32, so it won't be enough to slide into the hot seat, but another clean run. We've yet to see a fault at 16 inches.
These dogs are on their way here, so we expect them to be the best of the best. The course is challenging, but they're handling it right now very well.
This is Luna, who survived the Challenger round. Border Collie handled by Brenda Kelly from Texas. Up and over the A-frame into the Serpentine. There's a nice tight pivot into the seesaw. Nearly an early dismount, but was able to hold it.
Off to the side, but the judge saw. The dog waited till it hit the ground before until all 4 feet were off.
Will not eclipse 32 seconds, so the run laid down by Motive continues to stand up after 3 challengers. Now on to Frenzy. There are 10 total dogs in the 16-inch height division here in the preferred class. Frenzy, handled by Tammy Gigstad. First dog we've seen from Nebraska. The reason there are more dogs, by the way, competing in the finals at 16 inches is because there are more dogs competing at 16 inches earlier in the tournament. The top 7% in each classification advance through to the finals in each division, and we see a bar down, so it's going to be a fault to Frenzy. So nice. The 16 inches is the most competitive division, both in preferred and also regular, which you know all too well.
Well, me with my 20-inch dog is just week in, week out. The
16 and 20, right?
16 and 20 is just amazing to watch. Incredible dogs. But this 16-inch preferred are all these dogs that used to be in my 20
used to be in 20-inch, exactly.
So that's.
So this is our only non-border collie who survived to the finals at 16 inches in preferred. Dixie, the Labrador Retriever, handled by Ellen Green.
Dixie's having a terrific run.
Dixie's
out there barking. Set a nice line to that tunnel. We got 4 more obstacles. Come on, Dixie.
Dixie's been the AKC ranked #1 lab several times.
Very nice.
A time of 35 seconds. Hard for the Labrador to keep up with the Border Collies.
Very respectable.
But respectable nonetheless. So Motive is still sitting in the hot seat. It's happens, but certainly not too often that the first dog out is going to watch 5, 6 dogs come behind and has not put down a better time yet.
She's been sitting in the hot seat for quite some time.
Now it was Motive's trainer, Stephanie Spire, who is also handling this Border Collie keeper.
Make it all this way. She's going to beat herself.
Keep an eye on the clock, 32.9 seconds.
Keeper's having a terrific run. Gonna have to push it to beat
and
family
got
member.
Tangled up 32. Right there, 32.9. What is 32.903? Does get under 32.939, Dave. 300ths of a second.
Just that little bit.
It was good enough by 300ths of a second. Keeper moves into the lead. And it certainly seemed like after Keeper ran into Stephanie's legs, that was going to be the difference. Instead, Keeper supplants Motive and into first place with 3 dogs to go. This is Notch, handled by Amber McCune.
Amber's done a phenomenal job with this dog for years. I think we're going to see a very, very quick run.
Sprinting in and out of the hustle, turns the corner at 30 seconds, 31 as a second to get to the line, 32.7, yes she does. Notch just does just enough, a spirited run from the Border Collie to jump into the hot seat with 2 dogs left to run.
The top 3 dogs within 0.2 of a second. That's the true competition.
That's incredible.
That's what you like to see.
This is Probability, handled by Morgan Hansen.
Another Central Ohio favorite.
Runs by the name of Pro, 10 years old.
Probability.
Clean through the first half, and of course,
Very nice.
great dismount off of the teeter.
Basically sliding right off it when it hit, released. Going for the closing 29.
Bar down.
And a bar down. Very nice run.
32-4, which means it would have been good enough if that back foot didn't just clip the bar. Done in by the paw.
This is exactly what I was telling you about the long striding dogs.
Yep.
I think that ending is going to be definitely a challenge, more of a challenge for our 16 preferred, 20, and then our 20 and 24 later on. If you saw, Jordan got called for missing the contact on that dog walk, having a beautiful run. This was our #1 seeded dog again.
So Jordan's run undone on just the second obstacle, which means Notch is going to be your national champion.
What a nice run.
31. It would have been enough, but...
And that's why that dog was seeded #1.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But because of the fault, Notch, the Border Collie handled by Amber McCune, is national champion. Notch, by the way, from New Hampshire. So when the championships are out here in Oklahoma, we tend to see more dogs from the West Coast or the South. Some of the elite dogs, the East Coast, don't make the trip, but Notch made it here all the way from New Hampshire and is enjoying that celebratory run. Well deserved.
Dog's just having fun. Very nice.
The 20-inch and the final height division in the preferred class is coming up next. Stay with us. The 2019 AKC National Agility Championship.
There are certain breeds that are going to be great apartment dogs if you live in New York City. There's going to be other breeds that are fabulous working dogs for you if you're out on a ranch.
He is my best friend.
AKC.org is the best place to start because they have all the information about any breed you can think of.
What's not to love about this face?
Home. Home is where family comes together. Home is where you go to relax. Home is where you feel secure. With the AKC line of premium pet products, you can rest assured that your pet feels safe and secure in their home too. AKC, because every home deserves a good dog, and every dog deserves a good home. AKC Secure Pet Living products available at the Home Depot.
Our final height division in the preferred class is the 20-inch. There are just 4 competitors, and it's the Golden Retrievers against the Border Collies, 2 Goldens against 2 Collies. The first into the arena is Snitch, a Golden Retriever, handled by Sandra Hagler.
I get to compete with Snitch all the time. Snitch came out of his weave pulls, 1 pull too soon. So we have a fault, but she must go back to complete it in order to get a score. She has 2 refusals now and a wrong course, but is now back on course and Snitch is running.
So the faults are going to add up, and of course that's going to hurt your final score, but with just 4 dogs, as long as you complete every obstacle and are not eliminated, then Snitch still has the opportunity to finish top 4 here in these championships.
And get a placement for what Snitch has done. Fantastic.
Snitch from Kentucky, the next Golden Retriever, is named Rev, handled by Terry Everline. 3rd time that Rev is qualified for the national championships.
We have Goldens, Border Collies. For this class, 2 Goldens, 2 Border Collies. I don't know who to actually root for. I love my Goldens. Terry out there running, she is a judge, AKC judge as well. It's always great to root for her.
Rev was diagnosed with lymphoma
Absolutely.
on Christmas Day 2017. And here just over a year later, back and competing.
Doing fantastic. Took down a bar, but look at that dog run. Even though that dog was sick, is going through some issues, having the greatest time of his life. And Terry goes down.
So 2 dogs left to run in the 20-inch division in the preferred class. We've yet to see a clean run. This is Effin, who survived the challenger round, handled by Jennifer McDonald, the first of 2 border collies to round out this division. Missed the down contact.
So as of right now, we have 3 dogs. The last 2 so far only have 1 fault. I love my golden retrievers, but Effin there, we have Effin's brother sitting at home watching us right now. We have a litter mate. Effin is a phenomenal dog.
And so, Dave, this is a scenario where the first 3 out of 4 dogs in this division have faulted, which means we know that the last dog to run, Vets, if it's a clean run, regardless of the time, will be national champion. So as the handler, you should know that and take it slow.
Let's talk about strategy.
Right?
Absolutely, strategy. You can walk through this course as long as you're under the course time and end up with a national championship.
So there is a time limit that you've got to stay under, otherwise there would be a time fault. But as you can see, it's going to be a very deliberate run for Vet, handled by Sanji Brooks.
You want to think that she's running conservatively, but the dog's not going to let her. It doesn't matter. The dog says, I have 1 speed. That's what got us here. I'm running that speed, Mom.
Clean so far. Oh, the bar goes down.
And the time.
So we will not have a national champion in this division. First place will go to Vet with that time, and just the 5 faults for the 1 misstep, but no national champion at 20 inch. We're gonna pivot to the regular classification and reset the bars down low for 8 inches. That's next as you watch the AKC 2019 National Agility Championship.
We are AKC TV, the digital network for all things dogs. Take a front row seat at world-class dog events. Programming created especially for you and your best friend. From the American Kennel Club, AKC TV. Sit, stay, watch.
This is no ordinary puppy. And this is no ordinary story. This is the tale of a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to make the impossible possible. Because he is no ordinary dog. He's a Eukanuba dog. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make your dog a Eukanuba dog.
Dogs can't brush. With Fresh Breath by Tropiclean, they don't have to. Clean teeth, healthy mouth. Fresh Breath. No brushing required. You make the moments. We make them fresh.
And welcome back to the 2019 AKC National Agility Championship here at the Livestock Complex at Expo Square in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kelly O'Donnell with you alongside Dave Hirsch. We've completed the preferred class, and we're now moving on to the regular classification, and we will begin at 8 inches.
As you see, they're out there fixing the dirt, because as the dogs run on it, they want to give them as much fair of a footing for the dogs. So every now and then they'll go out there and they'll try to make it as flat as possible. You can look out there and you can notice exactly where the dogs' paths have been. You want to make sure that the dogs have the best opportunity to take off for the jumps and land with the best footing as possible.
And not only are they raking the dirt, but they also had to adjust the height of the A-frame, because now we've reset the bar from 20 inches back down to 8 inches, which is the lowest height division in the regular classification.
So while we do not have a preferred national champion for that last height, it does look like they are talking about still awarding the first place ribbon. We've got the dogs in the hot seat, and they're talking with they were talking with the judge. They may decide to award that now. I believe that's what we're waiting for.
In the meantime, let's talk about how many different breeds we have represented here at the 2019 AKC National Agility Championships. Mentioned 1,313 dogs competing. The Border Collie, most representation, 332. Shetland Sheepdog, 175. Goldens, All-Americans, also well represented.
And there is our champion for the, not actually awarded the National Preferred Championship, but definitely given the first place in her class.
So won't have the title of national champion, but did come to Tulsa and finishes highest ranked of all the competitors at 20 inches in the preferred class.
Okay, we're ready.
So our first dog in the ring will be Ren.
The first dog to compete here at 8 inches in the regular division is Ren Papillon, handled by Betsy Lynch.
From Delaware, Ohio.
Betsy's one of those people where we always kind of see her somewhere in the finals. Many different venues, does a phenomenal job. Another Central Ohio person, just look at that, had to ride that teeter all the way down.
All the way down.
Just not so fair. You got the 40-pound Border Collie, and you got the 3 or 4 pound Papillon.
And a refusal for bypassing the 18th obstacle, got within 3 and then knocked it over for good measure. So a couple of faults on the same obstacle.
Very nice attempt. Nice try with Ren. Ren ran out of order, if you noticed.
That's right. Originally was going to be the 4th dog, but because Betsy is handling 2 dogs in this competition, they let her go first, and then we'll see Betsy Lynch handling Lark later in the competition. Meanwhile, this is True, handled by Maureen Flaherty.
Papillon.
In fact, they've decided to run Cruz first, who was the challenger winner in this division, handled by Gail Donaldson. From New London, Wisconsin.
Terrific run. Very nice. Very good time.
So Cruz is going to set the pace with a clean run of 35.7 seconds. And now we'll have True, who originally was scheduled to run first in this division, but because of the shuffling, ends up being 3rd. True, 8 years old, the middle member of a 3 Corky pack.
Terrific teeter. Wonderful run.
Vociferous run, parking his way around the course.
That long body is just doing phenomenal. Good job. What a great run.
35.3 by less than half a second. True will vault into the hot seat.
Exactly what we want to see. We want to see very tight times between these competitors at this level.
This is Zorro, handled by Judy Ramsey. Papillons, of course, always do so well at this height division.
She's pushing and pushing. That's what you're supposed to do. Supporting properly, letting her dog know. Dog waits for that teeter to come down. You see that dog stopped closer to the middle. It took longer. We saw that when Betsy ran with Ren. Ren goes all the way to the very end. It comes down just a little bit faster. Very nice time.
35.37. If I caught that right, then by by less than a 1/10 of a second, will not move into first place.
300th of a second, that close.
So True still on top. This is Woody Wolf. Renee Marley is the handler, a Pomeranian.
Blue Springs, Missouri.
Terrific. Look at that Pomeranian just run.
One of 6 Pomeranians out of the 1,300 dogs in the competition this weekend.
She's doing a phenomenal job.
Out a little bit loose, but that's such a tight turn coming out of the serpentine to get up and onto the teeter. Disappears into the tunnel at 29 seconds.
We need tight line right there.
35 the time to beat. It's going to be close again. No, 35.7. So True's time of 35.3 continues to stand up.
4 dogs within a half of a second to each other.
Isn't that wild? There have been 4 dogs who have laid down clean runs so far in this division, and they've all been within 4 45/100ths of a second of one another. This is Stunner, a Papillon handled by Deneen Fox.
And they're not letting up. They're not letting up at all. Look at that. All the way to the end of the teeter, rides it down a little bit faster.
Stunner from California.
A little bit better of a line there. That's nice and tight. It's going to be another close one.
Glides over the 19th obstacle, crosses the line at 35 flat, and that is good enough to move into the lead.
That dog from 13, 14, 15 so far seemed to have the nicest line out of all those dogs that ran.
On to the course now is Finn. Papillon handled by Jesse Westover out of Pennsylvania. Finn competing in his first national championship. And has been competing overall in agility for just about a year.
Very impressive, right?
Looks like a veteran on the course. Got it into the tunnel and out at 29 seconds.
It's going to be just as tight. Might
He's got
beat
the
it.
edge. Yes, 34.3.
We've seen a first 34 for this height.
So Finn sets the bar with 34.3 seconds, and there are 3 dogs left to go, including Lark, handled by Betsy Lynch.
Betsy's running her second dog in this class.
The final 5 competitors here, all Papillons. In fact, 8 out of the 10 in this division, Papillons.
Everybody like that's a crowd pleaser. Goes all the way to the end and waits for it to come down. It's going to be another tight one. She's got about a 33, 34.
I think she has enough of an advantage, 34.3. It's going to come down to tense. 34.3 will not get inside of 34.30. Wow.
300th of a second.
Yeah. So Lark slides into second place. Just 2 dogs left in this division. This is Easy, handled by Carol Bogus from Virginia. Easy loves agility, loves to hike, loves to swim, play catch, snuggle, and right now gunning for a title.
Easy go.
Got a little bit loose heading into the 12th turn, and when these championships are being decided by fractions of a second, that might be the difference.
She's got the opportunity. We'll see how she finishes up.
Digging towards the tape, 34.4. No, by a 1/10 of a second. Will slide all the way down to 3rd place.
That's fantastic.
So
we have got a terrific show. This is our first height. Look at what we're looking at.
And the last dog with a chance to displant
number
Finn
1 seed
is the top-seeded Gabby, handled by Andrea Samuels. What does this little Papillon have?
I've seen Andrea run this dog. Has a lot to offer.
Flying into the weave poles. 2-footed dance through the slalom. Eagerly over the A-frame, clean run so far.
Beautiful serpentine.
And like a rocket, jumps off of the teeter.
Look at the line set there. Very nice. Into that tunnel.
Pops out at 28 seconds. Keep your eye on the clock.
Right here. It's right there. It's set right there. Is it going to happen?
34.4. No. Finn is your national champion. Take another look. No, as we double check, 34.25. That is enough by 5/100ths of a second. 34.253. Gabby just barely, by a blink of an eye, sneaks in underneath Finn. Gabby is your national champion.
We saw 9 runs, all within 1.5 seconds. All
phenomenal. 9. Gabby competed for the first time in Reno last year and now is a national champion. We're going to take a quick break. The 12-inch division in the regular classification next from the National Agility Championships in Tulsa.
Home. Home is where family comes together. Home is where you go to relax. Home is where you feel secure. With the AKC line of premium pet products, you can rest assured that your pet feels safe and secure in their home too. AKC, because every home deserves a good dog, and every dog deserves a good home. AKC Secure Pet Living products available at the Home Depot.
There are certain breeds that are going to be great apartment dogs if you live in New York City. There's going to be other breeds that are fabulous working dogs for you if you're out on a ranch.
He is my best friend.
AKC.org is the best place to start because they have all the information about any breed you can think of.
What's not to love about this face?
We've got several more height divisions still to run in the regular class, but so much more to look forward to on AKC.TV as we take a look at the upcoming events. The Raleigh Kennel Club Dog Show, Saturday, March 23rd. Mid-April, Peach Blossom Cluster, and then in early May, the Bucks County Kennel Club. A number of wonderful confirmation shows to look forward to on AKC.TV. Dave, what excitement we saw at 8 inches in the regular class, and you mentioned it just before the break, of every dog that ran clean in that division, which was all but, I believe, 9 dogs separated by 1.5 seconds.
You couldn't write a better script.
No, you really could.
That's what it's supposed to be. That is what it's supposed to be here. That is what we saw, the best of the best. And if it continues like that, boy, do we have a night ahead of us. Terrific times. There are, believe it or not, many local trials. You'll have a Papillon run the fastest time. It doesn't matter about what dog, what class. A Papillon will actually beat the fastest Border Collie in many local trials because of how tight they are and the least amount of yardage they actually run.
We're set for the first competitor at 12 inches in the regular class, and it's Trek, handled by Brittany Schazler. Trek, a Shetland sheepdog. There are 15 competitors at 12 inches.
You can just listen to her giving command after command.
Excuse me, they're running Tempest out of order. This is Tempest, who came out of the Challenger round, was originally scheduled to run 3rd, but is going 1st. And it looked good right until the 19th obstacle.
Last jump. That happens. Absolutely, it does happen. So the dog took the last jump, stopped the time. They seem not to have caught it, so they did not reset the time. The dog went back and finished the jump to get an actual score. But because the time was not reset, I'm not exactly sure what they'll do. Typically, they reset the time and have it continue to go and have a time. We'll find out if they do anything with that later.
So again, that was Tempest, who earned the wild card from the Challenger round. So now we have Trek, originally scheduled to run 1st in this division. As I mentioned, Brittany Schazler, the handler for Trek. Scampers over the A-frame.
Gets in that contact, you heard her yell touch. That's the command for that dog, touch. Rides that teeter down. Sets a nice line to that tunnel, and now for the finish.
Gracefully maneuvering over the final few jumps, and there's the number to beat, 37.935. A reminder, they run in reverse order from how they've qualified, so in theory, the dogs with a better chance would be stacked towards the back end in the running order. This is Kermit, the miniature Schnauzer, handled by Stacy Bowles.
You can listen to Kermit scream out there.
Kermit's got a lot to say.
They're talking to each other, aren't they?
They are. Kermit swerves into the open tunnel.
Beautiful. Look at this run.
37-9, the time to beat, and Kermit's got that easy.
Yes. What a nice run. Nice teamwork.
35.2 is the mark. Onto the course, Sierra. A Shetland sheepdog handled by Laura Fern. 12-year-old dog from Illinois.
So we talked about the dogs when they turn into their later years. We have the preferred class. Well, there's plenty of dogs 12 years old for the Sheltie. It's not its later years. Still can keep up with all the young boys. You said 7.5 was the average age here. This 12-year-old is doing very well for itself in the regular national championship.
And dogs competing this championship as old as 14 years old. Sierra's time of 36 plus, not quite enough to slide into the pole position. Next into the arena is Rory Bell, handled by Diane O'Reilly, and as you can spot from here, Rory Bell's a poodle.
Very cute poodle, very cute. Very nice lead out. She left her dog, she let out. Trying to get that dog move a little bit faster. Comes off the side of the dog walk, ends up with a fault.
So Rory, by the way, spelled R-A-U-R-I. It's worth pointing out today of all days that in Old Irish it means red-haired queen. Of course, today is St. Patrick's Day, so this is Rory Bell's day. Appears out of the tunnel at 30 flat. The time to beat is 35.2. Digging for the wire, not quite. 35.6.
With that fault coming off of that dog walk.
Yep. And we have a second straight poodle. This is Collie, handled by Caroline Young, and another fault for entering the open tunnel the wrong way.
We're very concerned about that. The dogs come off that dog walk. They see a tunnel, they get to make a choice. I'm sure the handler did not tell her.
No,
the dog said, I understand where you want me to go, but I'm going to check out this side first.
This is Koki's first time competing at the national championships, and that's just a novice mistake made by a novice dog.
But for your first time here, making it to the finals is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Good job, Koki.
So after back-to-back poodles, we'll see 4 straight Shelties. The first is Venture, handled by Jean Lavalette.
Jean Laval. Jean Laval, I'm sorry.
Into the Serpentine. Venture with a clean run from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
She's pushing that dog, isn't she?
She
Comes
is.
out of that tunnel just under 30.
Getting everything she can get out of Venture. Looking to get in under 35. Not enough. So 35.2, the time laid down by Kermit, continues to stand up. Of the 14 dogs that qualified through, not counting the challenger, Kermit's score was second from the bottom, yet halfway through this competition, Kermit is still in the hot seat. This is Stripper, the Shetland, handled by Susan Crank.
Susan had a little miscue there, but the dog said, I know where the jump is. Stripper took the jump.
Stripper competing.
Very nice. Has a very nice time going. Keep her up.
35-4, not quite good enough for Stripper, competing at the national championships for the 4th time.
Less than 0.2 of a second.
So just like we saw at the 8-inch
nice
division,
try.
the times are all bunched up here at 12 inches. Next up is a Yankees fan, a Shetland sheepdog named Jeter, handled by Nicole Logan. Two-footed approach through the weave pulse. Jeter into the serpentine.
Pushing real nice. Coming down that tunnel at 29 flat. Very good.
34.4. Yes, Jeter is your new leader.
Jeter takes the hot seat.
So the hot seat is occupied by the dog in the lead, and that is Jeter. So Kermit was able to withstand a test from a half a dozen dogs, but displaced by Jeter. Next up, another Shetland sheepdog. This is Steele, handled by Gail Anderson. Steele here from California. Aggressive turn off the A-frame.
Riding that teeter down. Nice front cross at the end of the teeter. Tell the dog where to go. Sending him right into that tunnel. And now for the closing.
It's a
turn right
swift
there.
finish to get in under 34.4,
Nice time.
and that is good enough,
got it.
34.1. So Jeter's reign at the top did not last more than one competitor, as Steele now moves into the hot seat, taking over first place with 5 dogs still to run in the 12-inch division. This is Hetty, a poodle, handled by Susan Cochran.
Having a nice fast run, but obviously did not want to wait and hit the end of the dog walk. Came off the dog walk and was called with that fault.
3 of the final 5 competitors are poodles, including the top 2 qualifiers at 12 inches. So it won't be Hetty, but that doesn't mean a poodle might not reign supreme in this division. But before we see the other poodles, there is a Shetland sheepdog to come next. Kermit is the dog's name.
The dog ran 32 seconds, but if you don't go through the contact, you'll have a faster time.
That's a good point.
So you need to make sure you get your contact settings. Not saying that would have added 2 seconds. I think she would have been sitting in good position, but that does happen week in, week out. Our dogs will sometimes be a little bit ambitious. Nice teeter.
Keep an eye on the clock. A clean run so far. Comes out of the tunnel at 29. The time to beat is 34.1. It's going to be close.
Very close.
34.141. Yes, that's your new leader. Again, by hundredths of a second, Kermit.
Telling you, this is very exciting finals. Very exciting.
And 3 dogs left who are going to take a run at Kermit. This is a Papillon Bilbo. So, Dave, we're used to seeing the Papillons at 8 inches, but here is a 12-inch Papillon.
Take a look. You can see a little bit taller of a dog.
Now, of course, measured by his ears, might be up at a 16-inch. Bilbo, handled by Brittany Emoff.
Look at that, dig right through those weave poles. Beautiful. Flying over that. You saw the dog leap over the top of that A-frame. Dog is just driving through, driving through.
Spryly into the tunnel. 28 seconds, on pace to take the lead. Needs to be clean through the final 2
Right
obstacles.
there.
Yes, 32.8, handily out in front. So that's the new mark to beat, 32.8 seconds. Only 2 dogs can beat it. Both poodles, Quirk and then Bliss. Quirk up first, handled by Rebecca Barkhorn.
They're obviously going to have to bring their A game. Last 2 dogs, let's see.
And Quirk is ready to
32 was
go.
a wonderful time.
Love that starting position.
Oh, he's waiting, he's
Like
waiting.
a sprinter out of the gates.
All right, let's get that contact zone. Perfect. Quick into that zone and the handler released. A very quick release to go on. Lateral motion there, the handler's working far away. and a little too far away. Ended up with a refusal going by jump number 6 and coming back around.
And even if he didn't pick up the fault for the refusal, likely the time lost with that maneuver away from the obstacle is going to keep Cork over 32.8.
Not to mention, Cork just missed the A-frame contact and jumped off the teeter early.
So you're saying Cork's not going to win the national championship this year. Terrific dog, though.
We saw from the start line the way that dog wanted to leave that start line. With all that energy, we knew. Here we go.
So this is it. It is either going to be Bilbo the Papillon or Bliss, the #1 seed out of qualifying, Cassandra Schmidt, the handler.
Now you can tell by the way she's running, she knows exactly what that time is, and she knows what she has to do. The
bar down. And that's it. Your national champion at 12 inches is going to be Bilbo the Papillon.
I still think we're going to have an amazing time right here, but that bar down is what's going to cost her the championship. Look at that time.
32.028, and you're right, it would have been there.
And that's what happens. Sometimes we know we have to push, we have no choice, and our dogs, by our acceleration or speed, our dogs will end up flattening out and knocking a bar sometimes.
So there were 4 Poodles, there were a half a dozen Shetland Sheepdogs in that division, but it is the Papillon, the only Papillon at 12 inches. Dave, you said it earlier, the Papillons, when it comes to just flat speed, in this contest, there might not be a better breed.
That's correct. That's correct.
We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, get ready. It's a 16-inch division. We promise a good time next. The AKC 2019 National Agility Championship.
Dogs can't brush. With Fresh Breath by Tropiclean, they don't have to. Clean teeth, healthy mouth, fresh breath. No brushing required. You make the moments. We make them fresh.
This is no ordinary puppy. This is a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to reach his mental and physical best. Eukanuba gives him the animal proteins and DHA he needs for a strong body and mind. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make him a Eukanuba dog.
We are AKC TV, the digital network for all things dogs. Take a front row seat at world-class dog events. Programming created especially for you and your best friend. From the American Kennel Club, AKC TV. Sit, stay, watch.
Welcome back to the 2019 AKC National Agility Championships from the Livestock Complex at Expo Square in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Happy to have you with us at AKC TV. Kelly O'Donnell and Dave Hirsch. Dave, who competed this week with your dog Super Lotto, and it was just 1 bar down that potentially kept you from being out there in the 20-inch division, which is coming up following the 16 inches. Not to bring up a sore subject.
We had a wonderful weekend. Phenomenal runs. Great dog.
So as I mentioned, we've now transitioned into the 16 inches, so the bar has been raised. 16 dogs competing at this height division, 10 Border Collies, but we begin with a Shetland Sheepdog named Lucky, handled by Jennifer Crank. And Jennifer has a few dogs that she'll be handling in this division.
Jennifer's another Central Ohio. I'm lucky enough to take classes and instruction from her and her staff. And it's always wonderful to watch her run. A very nice start to this class.
And she lays down a clean run with Lucky.
3.461.
Across the dog walk is Guess, a Border Collie handled by Melanie Rock. And a fault there is going to end the national championship hopes of Guess.
Came out of those weaves. The handler moved a little bit too quick out to the next jump. The dog came out, got a refusal, took the jump, ended up with the wrong course, and then went back and fixed the weaves. You must complete all the obstacles, go back and finish your weave pulls in order to get a score in this round. Nice run, nice dog.
one Australian Shepherd qualified for the finals at 16 inches, and we'll see him now. This is Java, handled by Cindy McElligan. There are 68 Australian Shepherds who competed this weekend. And the second time in 2 dogs, Dave, that we've seen a dog come out of the weave poles early.
So everyone's pushing and pushing and pushing. The handlers are not supporting the weave poles. The weave poles are not as independent as they hope their dogs to be independent. The dog's coming out with the handler. As far as an Australian Shepherd, typically the tail is not there, so it's different to see Java run like that. Fantastic job.
Cindy says
Beautiful
that Java is often confused for a Border Collie because of her full tail.
That's exactly right.
Next up is the Border Collie Edge, Pamela Fish, the handler. And let's see if Edge can stick it out to the last weave pole. Yes,
very
he does.
Nice, very nice distance.
Only one clean run so far at 16 inches, the time of 33.46. It was Lucky.
Jennifer with Lucky. This dog's coming out of that tunnel.
And we've got a bar down.
We do. What a nice try. What a nice run. 33.411 would have been.
Yep. So 3 out of the first 4 dogs in this division have faulted.
We talked about earlier that we felt that the larger dogs would have problems on the backside of this course.
Yep.
The smaller dogs had issues with the front part of this course. But we've had 2 weave pole issues so far.
This is Blizzard, the Border Collie from Texas.
She set the dog to 6 and did a blind cross. And she did another blind cross right there. Beautiful. That's crossing the dog, taking your eyes off him for a moment. Did a wonderful job, has a nice run going.
Blizzard, who turned 10 years old in September, will probably run preferred next year.
That's just perfect. Saw that dog run that. It's a nice way to finish the career of the regular height, to be able to run at 12 inches would be fantastic.
And even though the time of 36 seconds isn't sparkling because we've seen so many faults, it's still possible we see Blizzard place in the top 8.
Correct.
This is Stripe, a Shetland sheepdog. Marcy Mantel, the handler. And Stripe, who's represented the U.S. in 12 countries in different international competitions.
They've seen a lot of miles. Phenomenal run. Look at that go.
2018 World Team member. Competed at the Agility World Championships in Sweden. 33.4 the time to beat.
She's got it. I think she's got it.
No doubt about it. 33.1 is good enough to move into first place.
Jen held on to that seat for a little bit, being the first dog in.
Of course, we'll see Jen with 2 more dogs, including Pink a couple of dogs from now. A star in agility right now nationwide. But first, Nico.
Nova Scotia duck trolling retriever.
In fact, there are 15 Nova Scotia duck trolling retrievers competing this weekend.
It's a terrific dog. Very smoking run. Oh, there we go. On that tight turn, you want to be tight going from 18 to 19. Again, just as we said, we knew that that closing would be an issue. A wonderful run. Beautiful, beautiful dog.
We've got 4 Border Collies in a row, beginning with Rev Marty Brown, the handler. Rev, 6 years old from Georgia. Scurries out of the weave poles and up and over the A-frame.
All the way down, got a contact zone into the serpentine.
Well, Measured run so far, pops out of the tunnel at 28 seconds, 33
that's a very nice
for
time.
the time to beat. Not quite, 33.7 by 0.3 of a second. Will slide into second place.
And all that's based off of one quick maneuver by the handler. A late turn, a late communication, a late cue. It's tenths of a second. Here we go. This
is Pink, who we referenced earlier, a fan favorite.
Pink went right, tried to go off course.
Oh!
To the A-frame. She was able to save that to the weed poles, and now the ball went down.
And because Pink had to come out of the challenger round, clearly Pink had one of 3 rounds that wasn't clean earlier, because based on time, Pink clearly would have been among the top 7% to make it to the final. So because of that run of just reckless abandon, sometimes a pole's going to come down. But to your point, Davis, you just pointed out 29.9, lightning quick by 4 seconds. Pink would have moved into the lead, but just a little bit careless on the 8th obstacle, the beginning of the serpentine, and that's the difference.
So it makes this exciting, very exciting.
Now into the ring is Harlow, Border Collie, John Senger, the handler.
John's having a nice run, pushing. We saw that the dog walk was not a running dog walk in that amount of time. Will definitely cost you a little bit, but the dog is just
still could get under 33. Yes, 32.9, and there's your new leader.
Love to see the dogs dig out of that dirt.
This is Annie, a Border Collie. Final 6 dogs, 16 inches. Annie just 3.5 years old, her second time at Nationals. Finished second last year here at 16 inches.
Obviously, they're running full throttle, no question. Pushing the most he can.
Time to beat's 32.9. 2 obstacles left. 30 flat. My goodness. How about the run by Annie? Finished second last year at 2.5 years old. Now at 3, takes the lead with 5 dogs to go. Look at the Pumi named Petey, handled by Tammy Hall. And after a bunch of Border Collies, a different looking dog.
And the Shelties, that's exactly right. It's great to see. Anyone at home with a Pumi thought they couldn't do this? Look at what's happening right here. Competing with the Border Collies, the Shelties.
One of 28 dogs from Washington State here this weekend. A spirited run, 29.30, isn't going to get under 30 seconds, but that is a terrific effort. And guaranteed to place here at Nationals.
Represent that breed, fantastic. That's what we love to see. How many Pumis do you think we had here this weekend?
I can tell you that we had 5 Pumis out of 1,313 dogs.
And the odds of making it to the final.
Yeah, that's a great point. Back to the Border Collies. Here's Speck, handled by Kristen Sittner.
Oh, just a terrific A-frame. The dog drives all the way through it. Beautiful serpentine.
Bar down, tripped up at the triple bar jump. We've seen a couple of faults there.
Beautiful.
And it dooms Speck. 3 dogs to go. It's 16 inches. This is Deja Vu, the Border Collie. Brenda Kelly, the handler.
Everyone brings their A game. Everyone pushes all that they can. They want to be successful. But what you saw right there, at this level, we're going all that we can. That dog went ahead and found the wrong end of the tunnel.
And
right there.
When you set up courses, Dave, do you put obstacles in a certain position where you think, and obviously you're trying to challenge the dogs, but do you think, you know what, I bet there are dogs that are going to enter the tunnel here when they're supposed to enter here? Is that part of the thought process?
We have to have 9 challenges out there. 9, whether it's an off course or a handle restriction. every course. And we kind of went over this, and if you're able to download the course map from the AKC website, you'll take a look and you'll see where all those challenging options are. We don't have a choice, they're there. Hopefully you can keep the dogs out of them. We've seen a lot of clean runs.
Penultimate dog at 16 inches, Swift the Shetland Sheepdog, handled by Jennifer Crank. This is Jennifer's third dog in this division.
She started out in the hot seat, didn't she, this the first dog, then peeked off the bar, and
that's exactly right.
Swift just ended up the end of that serpentine, knocking the bar.
And he's in front right now at 30 seconds flat, and this dog will clock in at 29.7. But wow, the bar was down. Would have been good enough to take the lead with one dog to go.
Jennifer ran two dogs sub
30 seconds, that's right.
With one bar down.
With one bar down for each.
You figure if the dog has to lift themselves a little bit higher, it may have cost them another hundredth of a second.
So the top seed coming out of qualifiers was Little Sparkle, the Border Collie. The time to beat is 30.01. Little Sparkle here from Tennessee. Great dismount off the teeter.
Told the dog to lie down, then release.
Oh, clip the bar.
Another bar down. A wonderful time, though.
May have gotten in under 30, 30.1, who knows? But we have a champion, and it is Annie, the Border Collie. 30 seconds flat is good enough to get Annie the title at 16 inches.
Gonna bring Annie out here. You said that Annie finished second last year, is that correct?
That's right.
Second last year, first this year. Way to go.
She was on the European Open Large Dog team in 2018 that traveled to Austria. So this is quite an accomplished 3.5
at that young
Border
age.
Collie. Wow.
On the EO, very nice.
We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, the 20-inch division, the largest division that we've got here in the regular classification. That's next at the AKC 2019 National Agility Championships.
There are certain breeds that are going to be great apartment dogs if you live in New York City. There's going to be other breeds that are fabulous working dogs for you if you're out on a ranch.
He is my best friend.
AKC.org is the best place to start because they have all the information about any breed you can think of.
What's not to love about this face?
Home. Home is where family comes together. Home is where you go to relax. Home is where you feel secure. With the AKC line of premium pet products, you can rest assured that your pet feels safe and secure in their home too. AKC, because every home deserves a good dog, and every dog deserves a good home. AKC Secure Pet Living products available at the Home Depot.
The champion dog at 12 inches was Bilbo, and after Bilbo went on the victory run in the course, now picture time.
Not sure if that's Bilbo the Papillon. No. Not have the correct dog there, but that was definitely a national championship.
Run! And now we are back on the course at 20 inches. The first dog up is Rich.
Rich has missed both contact zones. You want to talk about pushing?
Yeah. And you know, Rich survived the challenger round, and to come out of the challenger round, you got to run clean. So a few hours ago was able to do so.
Absolutely.
But this setup, different story.
Comes to the big run. Got to push. And as we've seen, it could be a matter of a tenth of a second to win this time.
That's right. This is Dexter, handled by Krista White, one of a number of Border Collies to reach the finals here at 20 inches.
You saw Dexter taking time on that dog walk, making sure, and on the A-frame. do not want to miss those contact zones.
There are 26 dogs who have reached the finals here at 20 inches. And again, it's such a large number because there are so many dogs competing at 20 inches. You take the top 7% plus the survivor of the challenger round.
Very nice run, Dexter.
So Dexter sets the pace. It's 35.798. So many of these dogs, Dave, you're used to competing against on the agility circuit.
I do get to see a lot of them on the Midwest areas. I get to compete against them. But then when I'm judging all around the country, I get to see these people run. I was in Oregon. I was in Medford, Oregon myself about just over a year and a half ago. Got to see Tori run her dogs.
And this is Zoe, who is from Oregon.
A little miscommunication.
Not enough for a fault.
No, corrected it. Got into that tunnel. Very nice.
So 37-2, not good enough, but a clean run by Zoe. Here's a golden retriever, one of 4 golden retrievers to qualify for the finals. This is Amy.
You know exactly which way I'm leaning.
Yeah, I do.
Jane
Golden Pride.
Jane has terrific distance. You'll see that as she runs. Has these dogs having independent contacts. Does a phenomenal job, but Amy went ahead and knocked out bar at number 6 for a fault.
Amy, 8.5 years old.
Amy also one of the top dogs year after year going to the Invitational. Very nice.
And we will see back-to-back Goldens. Maywin is next.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this dog.
Why is that?
That's Super Lotto's sister out there. That is Linda with Maywin.
So you're saying as a broadcaster, you should be impartial, however.
Should be impartial.
Okay.
But Maywin,
missed the down
on.
contact.
Maywin had 3 beautiful runs to make it here. This is her first time here as well, so congratulations to them. Having a beautiful run. They say that the style between Super Lotto and Maywin are very similar. That's wonderful to see. She ends up doing a rear cross going into the tunnel, the first time we've seen that all night. A little wide there, but still a nice, respectable time. Nice try.
Would have been just a hair outside of the time to beat had there not been that contact miss coming off of the dog walk. Moving on to Tally. Kelly Nielsen, the handler. One of, as I mentioned, a number of Border Collies made the finals here at 20 inches.
Well, you said this was the largest class. This is the class I had to compete with. There were over 300 dogs, closer to 400. They had a lot of competition, and these dogs ended up on the top. Very nice run with Tally. That's the second dog we've seen go extremely wide from 18 to 19. It's a 36. I have a feeling, though, as it goes down, since there's so many in this class, we're going to see quite a bit faster and faster times coming.
Next on the course is Hotch, a Border Collie.
And Hotch got called on that dog walk again. Another dog. Seems to be a very popular fault to be called this evening.
Hotch just 3 years old, first trip to nationals, so Hotch likely will be back.
Oh, there's not a doubt. Not a doubt. I get to see them competing with them once in a while, and I get to judge them every once in a while. It's a wonderful team.
So 2 dogs ago, it was Tally, the Border Collie. Next up is Tella, the Border Collie. Sarah Jones, the handler.
This is Tala from Border Collie, age 8, with Sarah Jones from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Okay, lock it.
close to a fault, didn't it? I kept waiting for the hand to go up, but it
That's
didn't.
why we're lucky enough not only to have Alan Arthur, our judge, out there, but to have a secondary judge sitting right outside the ring.
Yep.
And his job is solely to watch that. He did not give any signal. The dog was okay from there. But as we see, a bar came down. So yet another dog running without a clean run.
Tala, who loves hiking and camping in the Colorado Rockies, faults and therefore will not move to the top. But Dave, I'm glad you mentioned Alan Arthur, our judge, because we've got to give him a shout out for the terrific job that he has done so far today. Very experienced in dog agility. He's been in the sport of dogs for over 40 years. On the course is Bounce, who comes up and over the A-frame and now will bounce into the sequence in the middle of the course.
Another fan favorite, one to watch. Bounce is just a phenomenal dog. Time's going to be fantastic. You and I talked about that right there, that if the handler could not support, the dog's coming out sort of tight, out of 16. He came right in and ended up with a refusal. Wonderful run.
Dexter, the Border Collie, has been in that hot seat for a while, was the second dog to run. We've had 7 or 8 dogs since, unable to beat that time of 35.798. The next up to try and dethrone Dexter is USA.
We've only had 2 clean runs so far.
USA pronounced USA. A very accomplished dog. Could be USA's last year, jumping at 20 inches. And likely will move down into the preferred class, down in height.
Doing a phenomenal job. She supported that 17 perfectly. Again, another wide, 18 to 19.
But the
now.
time is swift enough, 35.3. So by less than half a second, USA moves into the lead. The only Labrador retriever of 26 dogs competing at 20 inches is Decoy, handled by Rory Bell.
This is a terrific dog. This dog ended up winning the Invitational this past year in the 20-inch height. AKC Invitational down in Florida. Did a phenomenal job, and Decoy's just having a blast out there.
And laying down a good run. Pops out of the tunnel at 28 seconds. The time to beat is 35.3. And if he's clean, he's got it. Yes, 35.1. 34.1, excuse me. 34.1, and that's into the lead.
Fantastic Decoy. Sporting breed. We got a bunch of herding breeds coming, but that sporting breed did very nice.
And here is an All-American dog named Joel, as we mentioned earlier. Mixed breed dogs classified as All-American. And this is a good one in Joel.
Love our All-American dogs too. Absolutely beautiful dog. Nice serpentine, understands exactly mom's doing all those blind crosses, turning away from the dog. Jumps off that teeter. Not a problem. It hit the ground before the back feet left.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention that, Dave, because it's worth
She
pointing
went
out.
off course.
Yep.
She got ahead of herself, got a little lost, thought that course went straight forward.
Yep. Dog followed his handler.
We heard the judge blow the whistle, meaning that the dog cannot get a score because she did not go back and do jump number 19.
So that is an elimination. There will be no score. But you mentioned the teeter. I think to the naked eye, for a lot of people, it seems like the dog is leaving the teeter before that seesaw hits the ground, which would be a fault. But as long as a back paw is still on, even if the first 2 paws are already off, that's still okay.
Just needs 1 toe after it hits the ground.
This is Freedom, a Border Collie. Terry Arnold, the handler.
Did a phenomenal job running this dog. I got to see her all weekend run. Did terrific, but got called on that dog walk. Another fault off that dog walk. Mom turned, the dog thought, the dog was thinking a little bit and said, hey, maybe you want me to come here. Mom didn't support 18. She went back and fixed it, but had a couple faults.
Course corrects to get a score, but not a clean run. We've only had 5 clean runs to this point at 20 inches, the best of the best so far. Decoy, the Labrador Retriever. Here's one of the other Goldens. This is Gabby. Tammy Ritchie, the handler.
Look at this dog drive through that dirt.
Tight through the serpentine.
If that dog could smile, look at it go.
Takes a nice angle over those 2 obstacles before the tunnel. At 31 seconds, needs to get under 34.
You'd see me smiling.
34, oh yes, that is enough to move into the lead.
My face, the grin is going from ear to ear. Love to see that. Oh, terrific run. Terrific run. I hope it holds, but we got a lot of great competition coming.
A lot of great competition still to go.
Phenomenal run by Tammy.
But Gabby is now in the hot seat. This is an Australian Shepherd named Sculpin. Chris Brewer, the handler. Sculpin, just 3 years old, competing at nationals for the first time.
And again, it's our second with a tail. We typically don't see Australian Shepherds with a tail. They're always thought to be Border Collies, but it's definitely an Australian Shepherd and running beautiful.
Hitting top speed, 33.3 seconds, blowing up that top spot.
Very nice run.
33.2 in fact.
We had that Golden in the hot seat for a minute. Well,
but
for 34 seconds.
That's right. Still one more Golden to go, so don't give up the faith. But before that, a couple of Border Collies. First is Graphite.
Graphite is a very seasoned dog. Always has phenomenal runs. Paulina does a wonderful job year after year after year.
Neatly out of the tunnel across obstacle number 18.
That's right.
That was well done. And that's how you put down a time of 32.9 with turns like that.
At 18 and 19.
Wow.
And again, because of the amount of years they've been running and the experience they have together, they obviously are very, very, very incredible teammates.
So the hot seat has changed hands 3 times from the last 3 dogs. Let's see if Avid can go under sub 32.9, a Border Collie handled by Ann Swan. Just 3 years old at nationals for the first time.
Jumping over those bars very efficiently.
Last time nationals were here in Tulsa. Ann Swan, handler, owner, came to Tulsa to pick up her brand new puppy. And now here they are competing at nationals.
Fantastic, what a wonderful run.
So a clean run, but not the time they need it. The 4th and final Golden Retriever to run here at 20 inches. This is Jasper, handled by Curtis Jones.
I got to see his last run in the hybrid ring. It was phenomenal. And based off of that, Jasper definitely has the opportunity to.
You think he can go sub 33?
I think he's got the opportunity, but a little bit of a wide turn there. Teeter couldn't be any better. Clean teeter. Look at that line.
Turn. That's
perfect
beautiful.
Line. Coming out of there at 28 seconds. Oh, a little bit wide there.
Not quite 30.
Oh, knocks that last bar. And as you saw, we have yet to see anybody run on that side of the double that I can remember.
Right.
And because he was there and he stopped moving, the dog's motion stopped.
That's
everything
exactly
stopped.
what it was.
Everyone else was on the inside, and that could have ended up being just enough to not only knock the bar, but add that extra little bit.
33.3 would have been 3rd place and a good chance to place. Remember, it's the top 8 dogs who place and earn ribbons, but it's not to be for Jasper. So now it's all Border Collies the rest of the way. This is Soleil. 8 Border Collies to finish the division.
We're getting to see a lot of experienced teams. Very successful, very experienced. I think we're going to be able to see competition get hotter and hotter. Look at that turn right there. Phenomenal.
That's an experienced dog. Put down a time of 32.4.
And she got it.
Best of the bunch so far. Lori Michaels and Soleil into the lead.
that's where the excitement comes from.
Soleil, 3-time USA World Team members. 5 Border Collies left to try and displace Soleil. Excuse me, 7. There were 8 to end with, so now 7 Border Collies remain. And this is Jazzy.
We watch these dogs. We watch these dogs with their full extension, jump over these jumps, and some dogs have longer strides, which means they can cover more territory.
That's exactly what we're seeing here.
All that ground speed.
32-4, yes, into the lead, and you're right. That extension, that gait. No, but bar down at the last obstacle, huh?
No, it was 32. I believe that Soleil still has a faster time.
Oh, yeah. 32-4 instead of 32-4-1. So by 0.03 of a second, Soleil
still holds on. Just terrific.
There a bar out of place in the last obstacle?
No, that bar set perfectly like that as an ascending double. Look at this run here with Sarah. Came out of that tunnel at 25.
Hops is the dog.
I think we have a sub 30.
Sarah Baker.
Oh,
30.4. But by 2.5 seconds, you've got another leader. What a run by Hops.
Talk about this competition. Just phenomenal to watch. Exciting. I hope everyone's enjoying this. We definitely are.
This is Stat, handled by Diane Sanders from Illinois.
Diane's a very experienced handler also, as we've seen many of them. Independent on those weave pulls, but she moved away all the way down that contact. Nice front cross to another front cross. Front cross is exactly what I said. They turn in front of their dogs. And here she's just running out.
High velocity
17,
into the
18,
tunnel.
a front cross right there to cue the dog to turn tight, and she's over the last jump.
31-4. The time to beat by Hops is 30.4, so.
Diane had a nice run, very nice run, Stat.
Great run, but 1 second on the wrong side of the time to beat. 4 Border Collies left in the 20-inch division. This is Pepper.
We see all different kind of border collies. We saw some tall, some short, some smooth coat, some wavy coat. You can see by this dog's stride, it's just taking up less and less strides by how long this dog is.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Covered a lot of ground on those jumps. 31.1 is good enough for second place, but need to be under 31 to have a chance.
Okay, we're coming up to the last 3.
Fargo, Frankie, and Mowgli are the final 3. This is Fargo.
I get to see Fargo. You're going to see some incredible handling here.
Fargo's got his game face on. Oh.
Did you see Kathy handle this dog? Very
boldly
independent.
through the weaves.
I get the pleasure to watch this dog run all the time. I get to judge the dog.
Oh.
Bar comes down, but I do think we're still going to see an amazing time.
Yep,
and we
gets
have
in
our
under
first
30.
dog.
First dog under 30 seconds, but unfortunately for Fargo, picks up the fault.
Another nice run, but who's in the hot seat?
Hops.
Very nice.
So now it's Frankie. Blynn Baker is the handler from Washington. Placed 4th in the finals in 2018. Pristine run so far. Time looks good halfway through the course. Turning for home at 25 seconds. Needs to get under 30.4. Nope, 30.9 will move Frankie into second place, but only 1 dog left with a chance to displace Hops at the top. Here's Mowgli, handled by Sarah Straub, our last competitor at 20 inches. The time to beat is 30.4. This was the top qualifier.
Sarah put a reverse spin in there to get the dog tight going to the weave poles. She's obviously in first place right now. Pole position here coming into this round.
Conservative coming off of the seesaw.
I get to see Sarah up in Michigan when I show my own dog and also when I judge, and she's always out there working.
I think Sarah might have hit the obstacle.
That's
right?
exactly right. That is exactly right.
Not sure the time would have been there anyways. So there was a fault on Mowgli. And
that happens.
You're trying
so tight, get it so tight that we accidentally. What a terrific
I don't think Mowgli
nice
is going to hold it against Sarah.
No.
Meanwhile, it's a different Sarah who's going to be back in the ring to take the lap of honor. It's Sarah Baker who handles hops. And it's the Border Collie who wins the 20-inch division.
An amazing dog, amazing dog. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Sarah and Hops, and we're gonna step aside. We've got the 24-inch division and 24-inch choice. We'll explain the difference next, the 2019 National Agility Championships.
We are AKC TV, the digital network for all things dogs. Take a front row seat at world-class dog events. Programming created especially for you and your best friend. From the American Kennel Club, AKC TV. Sit, stay, watch.
This is no ordinary puppy. And this is no ordinary story. This is the tale of a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to make the impossible possible. Because he is no ordinary dog. He's a Eukanuba dog. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make your dog a Eukanuba dog.
Dogs can't brush. With Fresh Breath by Tropiclean, they don't have to. Clean teeth, healthy mouth. Fresh Breath. No brushing required. You make the moments. We make them fresh.
Welcome back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. 2 divisions left in the regular class here at the 2019 AKC National Agility Championships. Glad to have you with us. I'm Kelly O'Donnell, joined by Dave Hirsch. Dave, we've got the 24-inch and the 24C, 24 choice. If you could, for our viewers, explain the difference.
So anyone can run in the 24 choice. They're running against any dog that's not measured into the 24-inch class. So they don't compete against the 24-inch class height dogs. They choose, and obviously it comes out of the 20-inch class, even the 16-inch class. These are people who are running in other competitions at higher heights, so they want to run in the AKC at the higher height as well.
And a lot of those competitions being international.
That's correct.
So Roxy is our first dog here at 24 inches for dogs measured at a height of 22 inches and under, or excuse me, 22 inches and over.
Correct.
And as you pointed out as we were coming back from break, we'll see a number of different breeds here at 24 inches, which is a lot of fun.
Terrific to see the first Doberman. Nice run in the hot seat. 36-second time, beautiful.
So I mentioned Roxy, who was originally scheduled to run first, but they decided to put the challenger dog first, the wild card. That was Desi, as you mentioned, the Doberman Pinscher. And now we've got Roxy. And look at that face coming off the dog walk.
Briard. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is.
Again, representing all these individual breeds. Terrific to see a Briard out there running, just like we saw the Dobe.
This is the only Briard in the competition out of 1,300 dogs.
And ended up here in front of all of us at the finals.
That's fantastic. And check out those skills.
Talk about a wonderful, wonderful team. And again, we saw Mom running on the side that we haven't seen most handlers run. And we ended up having that off course. So we had that wrong course. It was a beautiful run, though. Great to see the Briard.
And now we've got a golden retriever. This is Tackle, handled by Joel Bassett.
Joel's doing fantastic. Love to watch him run. I get to see him as well. Another competitor I get to compete with. Tackle did come off of that dog walk, so Will not have a clean run, but doing fantastic. Good for him.
Golden came here all the way from New York.
He did a cross there, which we haven't seen many people do. Got a front cross in there to try to motivate the dog, stay in front of the dog, keep motion going. Ended up with a really nice, respectable time. Would have put him in the first place, but that missed contact zone on that dog walk.
So it's Desi, the Doberman pincher, still in the hot seat, who came out of the challenger round. Now we've got our first of 3 Border Collies competing at 24 inches. This is Kaboom, handled by Amber McCune.
We saw Amber earlier running.
8 dogs competing at 24 inches and only 6 at 24 choice.
She's pushing, right? You can tell.
Yep.
You can tell she's giving it her all. She's got a phenomenal run
That's
going.
a
I
great time.
think we have it. Keep that bar up.
Yes, 34.2 by almost 2 full seconds. Kaboom! Into the hot seat. This is Gromit, a Border Collie. Dama, the handler.
See the handler helping out a little bit there with a little bit of little motion. Handlers get excited as they're out there running themselves. It's a little dance we're doing out there with our dogs.
Mistake-free so far.
And Gromit is definitely a good dance partner.
The time to beat 34.2.
I think we have this one.
And stops the clock at not quite 34.3.
Oh, what a terrific run.
Slots
nice
into
try.
second place.
Amber's holding on.
3 dogs to go. And Dave, we talk about how you might see a dog out here who's 2 years old or 3 years old who's only been doing agility for a year or 2. Your typical handler at this level, will you see somebody that might be in nationals who's that new to the sport, or typically requires a little bit more experience?
It typically does have someone who's got experience, can handle all of it. There's a lot of stress out there for both the handler and the dog. So far we've seen 2 faults with this dog though. Tark is having a nice run, but just running wild. Went off course into the tunnel and of course came off of the contact zone on the A-frame and now has knocked the triple.
Knocked the triple down, yeah.
But having a blast, look at that. So every now and then we'll have one that this is their first time, a very young handler, and as far as a novice handler who's only been running for maybe a year or 2 and they have a sensational dog. But typically, if you take a look at some of these names, we see them constantly year after year. They're just top of the game, fantastic handlers.
Only 2 dogs left at 24 inches. Kaboom still holding on to that top spot. This is Jiff, the Weimaraner.
The first Weimaraner out here, isn't it?
Yep. A total of 4 Weimaraners
A
here in
little
the competition.
bit wide there. She needs to get this big long stride going down this line and then on the finish. If we have a chance. Right there. Added a little stride.
Digging towards the tape. 33.8 seconds, your new leader.
Very nice job. Very nice.
So we will have a Weimaraner champion unless Fergus, the Border Collie, can get in under the time just set by Jiff. And of course, Fergus is the top seed in this division. Bob Howard, the handler.
Bob choosing to stay inside there and doing a rear cross Louise. We haven't seen that very often. But working very well for him. Independent contact there all the way down.
It's Fergus through the serpentine.
So far, flawless.
No trouble with the triple.
A little zigzag there. We would have preferred to have it much more of a straight line, but a little bit wider there too.
33.8, yeah, 33.5. Fergus, a national champion. Boy, it wasn't.
2.5 tenths.
That's why,
we're holding our breath.
It wasn't the tightest line, but it was good enough for Fergus to win the title.
Just fantastic. We've had a wonderful night. Sensational. Competition has just been great to watch. We have our last 24 Cs.
Well done, Fergus and Bob Howard.
He got to wait all, by coming in as the first seed, he got to watch everything out there, and he knew what he had to do, and he knew the dog ahead of him was sitting in the hot seat. And he went out there and he did phenomenal.
One division left, it's 24 choice, and it's next.
Home. Home is where family comes together. Home is where you go to relax. Home is where you feel secure. With the AKC line of premium pet products, you can rest assured that your pet feels safe and secure in their home too. AKC, because every home deserves a good dog, and every dog deserves a good home. AKC Secure Pet Living products available at the Home Depot.
There are certain breeds that are going to be great apartment dogs if you live in New York City. There's going to be other breeds that are fabulous working dogs for you if you're out on a ranch.
He is my best friend.
AKC.org is the best place to start because they have all the information about any breed you can think of.
What's not to love about this face?
We're back from the livestock complex at Expo Square in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the site of the 2019 AKC National Agility Championships. It's also been the site of the Obedience and Rally Championships happening at the same complex this weekend, though next year, Dave, as we move to Perry, Georgia for agility, obedience, and rally, we'll find a different venue only because there are so many dogs competing over these three championships that it's tough to find the right venue that can host all of the events with all of the qualifiers that takes place.
I would expect us to have even a larger venue, a larger amount of exhibitors in Perry, Georgia next year.
So now it's our 24C division, our final division. And Dave, as you mentioned before, the 24-inch division, this is open to all dogs 22 inches and under who are interested in leaping at a higher level than what their height would dictate they jump at. And it's all border collies, and you're probably not surprised by that.
We have 6 runs, and we're going to see 6 amazing dogs. There's no question about that. They're going to go full throttle from start to finish. Hope they can all be clean.
And up first is Daredevil, who is the wild card out of the Challenger round.
Be careful what you name your dog, they say.
That's right. Oh, lost his footing, but recovered very well.
Expect to see us possibly see some 30s, or maybe even a sub-30.
Squeaking at the apex of each jump.
Out of that tunnel at 26.5.
Just clipped the 18th of 20 obstacles, 31 through the time, but picks up the fall.
And as we're finishing out the Nationals, we talked about the large dogs possibly having an issue at that 16, 17, 18 combination, making that turn to 19. And that's exactly what we've seen.
On the course is Bird. Comes to us from North Carolina. And we've got a fault.
We already have a fault. That's 2 dogs now with 2 faults. We have 4 dogs left in competition. Attempt to run clean. Still believe we're going to see a phenomenal time out of Bird. Dudley again is another experienced handler we see a lot of. Always doing well. Phenomenal. Great to watch her run, and her time was fantastic.
Remember, these dogs are 22 inches or under, which means typically they'd be competing at 20-inch bars or even 16 inches, and choosing to compete at 24, which means they've got to get serious air time to clear 24 inches. This is Puma, Melanie Rock, the handler.
So these dogs, obviously, a lot of them we've seen so far would be in that 20-inch height, and they both knocked bars, the first 2 dogs at the 24-inch. Possibly if they were running their height, they would have maybe not have knocked the bar, but still they were able to be clean all the way through. So they definitely can make it through. First dog.
And that was mistake-free by Puma. So 33.776 is the time to beat. 3 dogs left with a chance to supplant Puma. The first is Moose, handled by Rory Michaels. Rory's a 5-time AKC World Team member.
Another bar came down. Another fault. It is amazing, though, we continuously see these great handlers again and again make it to the finals. Sometimes with the same dog and often with many multiple dogs.
Yeah.
They're amazing at what they do. Fantastic. Nice try, Larry.
Two dogs left, Amigo and then Jimmy. This is Amigo, who is handled by Gwyn Friedel.
We have one clean run, correct?
Yep.
This is where strategy and competition, how much do you have to push?
Amigo lives on a farm, has horses he enjoys playing with. Well, not competing in agility, but burned by the 4th obstacle.
Bring all you have here. Leave it all out on the table.
That's right, Amigo emptying the tank and just
coming in a little too tight there.
Yep.
Not doing jump 15, but having a wonderful run.
So Amigo's not going to score, and we only have one clean run with 1 dog to go. His name is Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, let's see what you got.
Jennifer Martin, the handler.
Jennifer and Jimmy. Everybody enjoy this last run. Here we go. It's going to be exciting.
Jimmy scampering down off of the dog walk, nearly lost his footing. No fault, though. Aggressive through the weaves.
No, and we have great surface out there, so the dog really just kind of bounced right back from digging into the dirt there.
Our last dog of the night, Jimmy, clean so far, trying to beat the time of 33.77 to win a national championship at 24C.
You got 4 more obstacles.
Title at 27.
I think it's going to happen.
Well on
One
pace,
more,
and that
Jimmy.
is a national
We
championship
saw
run
it the
for
last
Jimmy.
run. The last run of the night. Fantastic.
Jimmy and Jennifer Martin, congratulations on your national title.
What a terrific competition we were able to see. Hope everybody enjoyed this. She gets her victory lap out there. She earned it.
Yes, she did. An immaculate run to finish the championship. Reverse through the weaves. And an improv run. Go wherever you want.
Absolutely. That's our national.
That's got to be a good feeling as a handler
24/7.
to get out there and just enjoy the moment with your dog.
No matter how the dogs ran the entire night, I guarantee that once they walked through that gate after their run, they walked out of this gate, out of the ring.
Yeah.
They had as much love.
That's right.
Smiling, they got the tug, they got their treats, their jackpot. All the dogs do for their jackpot, whether it's tugging on that leash like we see Jimmy doing, or all the treats and the jackpot the dog gets.
As we reflect back on 109 dogs competing over 11 divisions and 2 classifications tonight, Dave, was there anything surprised you, one run that stood out?
Absolutely not. They were all amazing. We saw some of the tightest run after run after run. It was just incredible to watch. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope everyone wants to go out there and do it with their own dogs. It was just amazing. They brought their A game. Every dog that we saw was just fantastic to watch. What a great competition this was.
Well, from agility, some fun confirmation events to look forward to, brought to you by AKC TV. They include the Raleigh Kennel Club Dog Show. That's going to be Saturday, March 23rd. And then in April, on the 12th, the Peach Blossom Cluster. And looking ahead to May, the Bucks County Kennel Club. So stay tuned to AKC.TV for upcoming events. And plus, AKC weekly schedule. You don't have to wait for upcoming confirmation shows. Every Tuesday and Friday, Tune in at noon Eastern for AKC Dog Center live from 101 Park Avenue. And of course, Wednesdays at noon, it's Ask the Expert, where you have an opportunity to send in your questions live and have them answered. A terrific program, and for all dog lovers, tune into that one. Well, what a fun night it has been here in Tulsa as we handed out 11 national championships here at Expo Square. Another terrific agility championship, and we look forward to next year. So for everyone associated with AKC TV, the American Kennel Club, our staff and crew, from my broadcast partner Dave Hirsch, I'm Kelly O'Donnell. We enjoyed the night. We'll see you next time. So long.